Back with us now is Congressman Adam Schiff. He's the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. He's been the lead investigator in the impeachment investigation. Sir, I appreciate you being here again. The interesting court hearing today in federal court in New York. Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman have been criminally charged. They're associates of President's lawyer, Mr. Giuliani. They've been charged with, among other things, directing illegal foreign funds to various Republican campaigns and causes. Today in court, a couple of interesting things happened. Number one, the U.S. attorney himself, Jeffrey Berman, appeared in court for what was just a status hearing in their case, which is an unusual thing. That's U.S. attorneys themselves don't usually show up for that sort of thing. Prosecutor in the case said, we expect there to be a superseding indictment, additional charges. And Mr. Parnas's lawyer explicitly told the court that Mr. Parnas has a lot of information he would like to give to you, that he would like to convey to your committee in Congress for use in the impeachment investigation. Just have to ask what that means and what you know about that.
Yeah. Well, I can't go into many of the particulars here. We are in touch with Mr. Parnas' counsel. There is certainly information that he has that's relevant to our inquiry. At the same time, we want to be careful and respectful of what the Southern District of New York is doing. So we're in discussions with the Southern District of New York. We don't want anything that we might do to interfere with our ability to bring people to justice. At the same time, if Mr. Parnas has valuable information to offer, and we are already in the process of receiving documents and information from Mr. Parnas, then we want to make sure that we have the benefit of that information as well. So the long and the short of it is we're leaving no stone unturned. But we want to make sure that what we do doesn't prejudice what the Department of Justice is doing properly through the Southern District to bring people to justice.
And those, presumably that's a sort of matter of course professional discussion that you have with law enforcement authorities, and that kind of thing comes up regularly over the course of your work.
Yes, and we've had these discussions during the course of the Mueller investigation, indeed involving Michael Cohen, where there were similar concerns that what we might do might interfere with what they're doing. Now, we don't always see eye to eye with either Justice or the Southern District. We have both competing but important concerns, but we do try to at least be mindful and make decisions. If we are going to interfere with a prosecution, it has to be for a darn good reason.
You mentioned the Mueller report and those kinds of discussions that have happened. One of the things that was released today, thanks to a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit filed by a BuzzFeed reporter named Jason Leopold, is that we got a whole bunch of 302s, a whole bunch of the FBI notes from interviews for people who were people who were questioned as part of the Mueller investigation. Among them, one of the ones that jumped out to me was a 302 from Michael Cohen, the president's personal lawyer who's now in prison, who appears to have told the FBI, at least the way that I'm reading this 302, that one of the president's current lawyers, Jay Sekulow, who's advising him on the impeachment matter, among other things, Cohen appears to have told the FBI that Jay Sekulow told him to leave out a whole bunch of information about Trump Tower Moscow when he was testifying to Congress. I mean, one of the things Cohen is now in jail for is lying to Congress. Yep. In that testimony, he appears to have told the FBI that he got advice on what to leave out of his testimony from the president's current lawyer. Just have to ask your reaction to that, having sort of been through those wars.
Well, this is an issue that we are very much investigating. And in fact, we're in the process of subpoenaing information and looking at what witnesses we wanted to bring in to probe exactly this question. That is, did Michael Cohen have help in creating that false statement? Were the others involved? Was Mr. Sekulow or others involved in essentially suborning a perjured statement before Congress? That was something we were actively investigating. It is still something that we're investigating. But I have to tell you, as you might imagine, that has taken a back seat to our need to conduct the Ukraine investigation. But yes, when people come before our committee and they lie, there are serious consequences, as Roger Stone found out, as Michael Cohen found out. And anyone that suborns their perjury also ought to face justice. And that's something we take very seriously.
Alongside the obstruction element of the Ukraine investigation, which sounds like it may ultimately both be part of your report and part of the articles if judiciary gets to that point.
Well, and this is a very important point, which is the evidence on Ukraine is overwhelming, but the evidence on obstruction of Congress is also overwhelming. There's never been a president that in a more wholesale way obstructed the work of an impeachment inquiry, let alone oversight. The president told the State Department, do not turn over a single document, and they haven't. Told the Office of Management and Budget, which held up the military, don't turn over a single document, and they haven't. Told witnesses, do not show up. And if Congress allows that to stand, it will not only mean this president is able to escape the exposure of his full wrongdoing, but any future president can simply ignore congressional oversight. It will fundamentally alter the balance of power between the institutions in a way that will make corruption, negligence, and malfeasance much more likely because Congress will be powerless to investigate it.
Congressman Adam Schiff, the chair of the Intelligence Committee, again telling us tonight that there will be a public release of the impeachment report by this time tomorrow. Sir, it's great to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.